What we're doing is we've attached the carrier protector to the bladder itself. This carrier protector actually it has multiple purposes. Outside of protecting the bladder from the resin, it also has a woven material inside of it which is going to allow, or it's going to disallow the bladder to overexpand. One of the things that definitely separates us from some of the other kits and repairs out there today, if you're doing an 8-inch repair, you're going to get an 8-inch repair. After the carrier material, the carrier protector is attached to the bladder, we then wrap the felt resin, what is that called? Thank you very much. The intertubular material, which actually is the resin, it's the host for the resin. All that does is allow us to put the resin onto a material, keep it on that material for the repair. After that's been attached to the bladder, we're going to wrap it with our resin impregnated fiberglass layer, which also has a felt backing to help transport the resin that they're saturating it with. The reason for this is actually twofold as well. The fiberglass material is actually about, well, it is exactly 6 inches long and 3 inches on each side to give you, which you'll see here when we're finished, a nice smooth transition, so there is no lip. You can see where they've marked it off clearly with a Sharpie on where that resin, or where the fiberglass is going to wrap around that. It adds an additional layer of structural support, and it also allows for that smooth transition. As they continue to wet this out, they're going to wet the fiberglass side first, pick it up, fold it up, basically flip it over, and then saturate the felt back side of the fiberglass. From there, they'll move to wet out the intertubular material, which again is more or less just a host for the resin. This becomes the actual repair though. So when this is finished, when this is hardened, the AV resin hardens, you'll have your repair as this felt becomes. The resin allows that to be pulled into place. After they're fully wet out, what you'll see is they'll connect it to where the repair is based on using their television camera, and they've given a hard mark measurement on the rope itself. So they know the distance they need to
give me this information.
Before we get ahead of ourselves, let me get back to this. The bladders that we incorporated in these repairs actually have a flow-through in them, so there's no need in most circumstances to worry about having a bypass or a plug or a pump like this. The flow-through allows the flow to continue on most lines, unless it's an incredibly heavy line.
If I could have one of those.
The process in itself.
Right now I'm just periscoping you guys live, so you're getting live video.
In some cases you may need to keep the bladder in place a little longer if the temperature is cooler than it should have been that day, or if there is active infiltration that you want to make sure you wait until the kit is hardened.
And it's a little tough to introduce me, but I'm the social media manager at Underground Construction. So this is, so I'll put this on our YouTube page and stuff and share it on our social media.
It also stops from overexpansion in your pipe. So if you do have a damaged section of pipe with a cavity, and you may be concerned that pipe will continue to break, if more than 8 inches in diameter in this case is applied, this will stop that from overflaying, as well as the sewn felt material on the 8-inch repair. So it's only got over 8 inches. So as you can see first, as you order your kits, whether you order an 8-inch kit or a 10-inch kit or a 24-inch kit, you get an 8-inch piece of carrier protector, job specific, as long as any bladder you may use. You'll obviously cut this to length once it's attached to the carrier protector on the leading edge. After that, the second safeguard we have that we implement is the material itself. And it's a sewn piece of felt. So your repair is not going to be any larger than 8 inches. It's exactly what you want. So this stops from overexpansion, allowing you to end up with the same repair at the movement. The great thing about our structural repairs, though, and because of the fact that we exceed ASTM 1216 standards for a structural standalone repair, is the section you repaired can stand alone on its own. And what we typically suggest is if it's a 4-foot section of clay pipe, let's say, we suggest a 5-foot kit to give you a 1/2 foot on each side overlap that joint. That 4-foot section at that point, though, at that moment, or after the repairs in place, can continue to disappear, crumble apart, whatever, and our repairs will act as a standalone section of pipe. What they're doing now is obviously positioning the bladder and the felt on the fiberglass. They're going to wet that out. And if you can notice, it's folded over. That's because obviously the bladder is not an 8-inch bladder as it stands now. And it's held together with low compression zip ties. When the air is introduced from the vial into the bladder itself, and the bladder expands, you'll hear these zip ties pop. You can actually hear it even as you're standing out of a manhole. Some of the benefits, and the reason you consider using this technology is simply it keeps guys out of the holes. It'll keep your guys out of the manholes. It'll keep you from digging for certain. And it allows for you to go in and replace a section of dilapidated or damaged pipe without having to break ground. And without obstructing any flow in most cases. So, as you see, they're working the resin into that molded pocket to make sure that they've saturated every inch of the intertubular material. From there, they'll wet the rest of the material out and then begin to wrap the fiberglass around. This two-step process is what gives us that full structure. The other benefit is if there is a belly or if there is a missing section of pipe when you're installing the one repair, it's going to stop and it's going to hold the fiberglass where it is and it's not going to overexpand into the belly or into the void. To give you that smooth thumbnail that you see here on this sample, even though there's no void, it'll still look, I've got video where it'll still show you before and after the section of pipe, and after looks just like it does in here. Every kit, every time you order a kit, it's going to come with the stock with everything you need, including the proper amount of resin, the measured amount of fabric that you order. So if you need a 3-foot kit, that's what this is in this case, you'll receive a 3-foot 6 kit of fiberglass. But if you need a 5-foot, 7-foot, 4-foot, whatever it happens to be, we custom build the kits to order. Also in the box is going to be everything you need to wet out and install the kits. This will have rags, gloves, Timex suit, goggles if needed, a stir stick, the trowel, and a jar of silicone. The silicone acts as a barrier between the resins and either material or the bladder itself. What we'll do when we're installing the kits is we'll actually smear some of the silicone onto the carrier protector, which is this material. So when you go to retrieve the bladder, it doesn't catch or it doesn't get adhered to the kit and complete fold. Also, the way the kits are designed with the box, most resins come in the box in an 8B bucket. So there's no mistake, there's no waiting, there's no measuring. You take B, you pour it in A, you mix A and B together, and then you apply it to the kit. The box then becomes basically your portable garbage can as you're done. The throw away parts, whether it be the buckets, gloves, the rags, whatever, you have this bucket, it can be folded up and started right there on site. As long as these two are mixed and activated, it becomes non-hazardous. What they're doing now is they're securing the fiberglass wrap onto the felt wrap with the enclosed low compression zip ties. The zip ties become part of the repair when everything's said and done, without dangling down, without creating anything that may catch debris or catch anything in the collection system itself. Most often than not, just the actual heat of the two resins activating, the resins activating, will cause the zip ties to melt and become part of the final repair. As soon as it gets fastened, what you'll see is they'll connect the leading edge, which is the edge that's up in the air, to one side of the rope reel that's been pulled through either by jetter or camera or whatever we have necessary to fish the one side of the rope reel down the downstream and up the upstream side. Sorry, down the upstream and up the downstream side. On the back end, look at this area now. It also has an eye hook here for the back end road and then the air connection. The air connection is going to supply obviously the air to the bladder. PSI is going to vary depending on the size of the repair. Once the 13-gallon air bottle that comes with the system supplies plenty of air to not only inflate the bladder, but hold the bladder for as long as necessary in order to ensure a hard finish. But as you can see, the tails of the zip tie is flipped. And the end of the rope that's been pulled through has been connected to the bladder. Guys, this is the main focus of these repairs is really to be a time versus money comparison. As everything, all of this technologies are. It gives you access, or it gives you the ability to repair a pipe that you may otherwise not even have access to, or would rather not get. Municipalities specifically like adopting these types of systems for multiple reasons. One of them being the fact that it keeps their guys out of pits, out of holes, and it works almost seamlessly with their configuration that they currently have. As you can see, the two guys that are installing this one are having no issue doing it to it. Once the bladder is fully into position, the back end is attached to the connecting air hose here. They'll continue moving it into further repair. The pulling edge has got to know when to stop when he reaches that predetermined tape marker that needs attached, so he knows where his repair needs to be. Some of the other benefits are the time it takes to install and completely repair a section of the main line. From wet out to installation, to curing, to say breakdown is 3 to 4 hours depending on the ambient or the ground temperature. Again, if there are some outside other light conditions, you might want to repair it a little bit longer. But the fact of the matter is, you can have 2 of these in the ground a day with the one system. Add 2 more rope reels, another air hose, or another air bottle, another bladder. You can be doing 4 per day. So depending on how many you have for each of them, it's almost another. The sky's the limit, I guess. Also, if it's something that the manhole we have here in the middle of the road, the 13-gallon air bottle can be lowered into the manhole itself once the pressure's set and held, and you can reopen the road to service, have someone return, or leave somebody outside if need be, but at least the road is still open for traffic during the repair. So the downtime on the road is only a matter of time it takes to put the rope rails and arrows in. As you see now, they're going back to the bladders in place, and as they move the cables out of the way, you'll see the bladder, and you'll see the bladder's forcing the resin up into the damaged pipe, which actually helps create that grip or that bond that'll hold that repair more firmly in place, as well as infiltrate into your problem area. From here, we're in place, and it's a matter of just waiting to cure. Clean up the job site, pack up, and move on. About 2.5, 3 hours from now, you'll have what we have in front here, which is a completely, hardened structural repair. And I think that covers pretty much how we demonstrate the point repair system. If you all have any questions, please stick around and ask some questions. There's our 2 trainers on site here, myself, Scott Hines, and John Max. So thanks for coming out and watching the demonstration. Please let me know if you have any questions. Also, we do have information in there. You can always go to our website.